Hi folks, how are you doing? An interesting last round in the Tata Steel tournament in the Masters group. Some decisive results. And well, the game I'm going to focus on is the first defeat. The first game lost Aronian, who finally went on to, despite losing today, he went on to win the game, to the tournament, sorry, with still a very good performance. And well, he today blundered in a very complicated game with in heavy time trouble. He just basically blundered backrank mate. So anyway, it was a very complicated game, as we will see now. And I would just like to just note how cool is it that the fact that he lost against Van Wely. And now Van Wely is a Dutch GM, so he played the Dutch defense in this game in the last round to beat the till today undefeated absolutely dominator of this tournament. So cool fact there, using the Dutch, being Dutch in Holland to beat the leader. So nice. Levon Aronian with white, by the way. D4 he plays, and F5 to Dutch defense. Knight F3, Knight F6, and Bishop F4. Now Aronian used a similar approach against the Dutch in the Sinquefield Cup in the United States. You may remember in last year in USA against both Kamsky and Carlsen, I think, and he wasn't very successful there. I even recall Wesley saw in the live commentary just saying, "I don't think this is the best approach." Cool for him, but okay, he still keeps using this system, this Bishop F4, Knight F3 kind of London system against the Dutch. And well, he's here today. He gets a reasonable position, quite messy, but potentially good position. He probably thought he had a good position, but finally blundered, as we will see. D6 and D3. This is kind of a London system against the Dutch. Now, one of Black's main ideas in the Dutch is try to play this E5 move in the Leningrad Dutch. So this is the main objective of White's strategy, to make this as difficult as possible with the pawn, the bishop, and the knight. And now E5 is practically impossible to play, so he sticks on his guns and keeps playing like that, just avoiding E5 for Black. H6, and now the threat is to play G4, F4, just giving White bishop lots of troubles. Now White has to more or less cope with this, so H3 is the move. So after G5, now bishop H2. Normally in the Leningrad you don't play H6 G5, you normally play just G6, but well, this is maybe an improved position for Black. You have more space in the king side. You have H6 G5, you can play bishop G5 anyway. The difference is, of course, that the bishop is out of chain, so he's going to be able to stop E5. Bishop G7, some normal moves now. Knight BD2, short castle, C3. May not seem very ambitious, but this is really solid, building his position slowly. Knight C6, Bishop D3, and again E5 is not possible, but E6 maybe not in the spirit of defense, but it's possible to still control lots of central squares there. Here Rook B8. I like to think it's the idea of to play B5 and maybe later B4 to have something here on the queen side. Although Van Velde doesn't do this later, well, this maybe probably this is the idea. Otherwise, I don't see them. I don't see why you play Rook B8. But anyway, short castle here. Queen E8 was played here by Van Velde. Really typical move in the Leningrad Dutch. You want to bring the rook via this light square diagonals to launch an attack on the king side. Very typical. Instead, let us see what would happen with b5. It seems that he was preparing for this. A couple of options here for White. For instance, he can immediately go in the center with e4, something he probably would like to. And if takes, White has a reasonably good position. I mean, you have opened up the center, and you might have even probabilities to attack on the king side. Light squares might be weak, but dynamic positions probably a little bit better for White. Another option was to play king b3 check, king h8, and now you may say, well, this is very dangerous to take on b5. Wait, Well, it is because after a6 the computer suggests to sacrifice the queen. There we go. Interesting, very interesting queen sacrifice. Rook takes, a takes, and white has a rook and the knight and the pawn against the sacrificed queen. I think black must be better here. I mean, he has should have white may have compensation, but black must be definitely better here. Material must be too much, but interesting enough, Engines do not agree. They think that white is even a little, very slightly, tiny better. I mean, more or less equality. So it seems white has not advantage, but compensation at least for the queen, for the sacrificed material, and probably it is due to his better development, better square. Better piece coordination and better piece development. And well, I mean, black pieces don't seem to be that great. Now the queen, take note that right now it can't move. You can't go to d7, e8, so you'll have to play something like e6, e5 to make it move. And the rest of black pieces are not really that great either. So for the time being, this may be a little bit compensated, the queen sacrifice, but at long term, I mean, I probably would take black because seems very dangerous. When black gets activated, this might be a disaster for white. But anyway, very interesting possibility here. Instead, queen e8 was played, and now rook e1, just giving him more chances to play e4, and queen h5. There we go. Black is playing for a victory. It's clear. So very interesting play by both players. Very brave and very bloodthirsty. Here a couple of possibilities. Queen c2 was played, attacking the pawn, but I'm not sure about this move really. Well, I mean, queen b3, queen f7 probably was going to be played. Not sure if queen exchange would favor black or white. Still a very complex game with almost every piece and pawn on the board yet. e4 was possible, takes, and after g4 you could take check, bishop takes, knight d2. You're going to relocate the knight to e4, and well, you have a reasonably good position probably here. Although black always has potential attacks on the king side, you must be always careful, like in all these Dutch positions, but objectively speaking, white should be better here. Not much, but probably at least slightly better. So queen c2 was played, and now g4. Now you came here to attack. You're going to attack. H takes. Knight took here. And well, of course, the threat is to checkmate on h2 if there wasn't a knight on f3. So for the time being, white shouldn't worry, although it's a target there. It's always there. And really a sharp and interesting position. Now lots of almost any piece in the board, and it's really lots of possibilities, tons of lines here. Kind of cool position. Bishop b5 was played here with the more or less threat to play queen b3 check and to take on c6 because the pawn would be pinned and you could not take on. I mean, the rook on b8 would be hanging. King h8 was played here just to avoid that. Just for instance, if a5 was played, queen b3. Well, exactly, a5 gives black some chances. After this, queen f7. Now, for instance, bishop takes c6. The bishop cannot be taken. The rook is hanging. So now, after queen f7, queen takes b3 is possible. A takes b3, b takes c6. Rook takes a5, and well, this is a piece sacrifice. Black has taken a pawn. Probably he doesn't have much compensation, but still, it's playable, maybe. But all this was avoided by Van Velle with king h5, king h8, really prophylactic and useful move in all these Dutch structures when you get this light square diagonal open. Queen b3 anyway, and now knight d8. The knight probably will go to f7, and he might go to g5 or help the e5 break. Bishop d7 was I think interesting, just getting developed and protecting the rooks, connecting rooks. So after knight d8, bishop g3, now the knight is free to move. There is no more checkmate to protect with the knight. The bishop is protecting it by itself. And d5, now going Finally, the desired move in the Dutch Leningrad e5 can be played. Now, if you put an engine here to analyze, at least my engine seems to be a little bit lost. I mean, he suggests this line: bishop e6, bishop c4, bishop d7, e4, f4, bishop h4, knight c6, bishop f1, e6. I mean, I just don't see the. This is why sometimes engines are not comprehensible, at least for me. I just don't fail to understand what is the purpose of all these moves. But hey, just wanted to show you. e5 was played here, probably more human. D takes. Now queen b4. The queen is much more active here. Knight e6. Knight is going back into the game. Rook a d1 and c5. The pawn is protected by the knight on e6. Now queen b3. Knight c7. Attacking the bishop, giving the possibility to play bishop e6, attacking the queen. So this is a little bit mess of a game because almost any piece and pawn is still in the game, and black has some attacking possibilities on the king side. White king side may be weak, but at the same time his own king side is a little bit hanging. White has lots of pieces here on the center, on the king side, and the queen side. So lots of possibilities here, and really not easy to not to miss anything here. Bishop e2 was played. Bishop e6, and now bishop c4. Bishop d7 here, bishop e2. Van Wely didn't repeat moves. Well, and f4. I mean, he keeps attacking. Kudos to him. And well, computers keep saying this is always better for white in a reasonable amount, but I mean, this always happens. I think with the Dutch engines always think that white is much better, which in fact lots of times in a human game is not the true, because potential and dynamics are very important. It takes. Now bishop h4 and bishop c6. The bishop now is in a good diagonal on this light square, and I'd rather probably take here black, because I mean I don't care that much what engine says here. +1, well, so good, but black has so much potential of attack, and it will take just a little tiny mistake for white to get in lost position, probably because you got the rook on the f file, you got the queen, you got the knight, you got the bishop on c6, so this seems really dangerous position for white. Bishop e7, funny trip is this bishop having. I mean, going to f4, h2, g3, h4, now to e7, rook f7. Now it goes to bishop c4, attacking the rook. Knight d5, just blocking. What if rook f5, for instance? Well, it seems, although I don't understand it once again, I mean, engines are a mystery in this game for me. Queen c2, knight d5, bishop d3, attacking. Knight takes d7, rook takes e7, rook f6. Well, just some moves, getting away from attacks, exchanging some pieces, senseless for me. Bishop c4, knight d5 was played. Now bishop h4, the bishop goes back, and instead, if bishop takes c5, taking the pawn, a5 with the idea to play a4 and just getting away with these pieces. Bishop d6 attacking there, rook d8, knight e4 protecting, rook f5, and this is a complete mess. This is insane. I mean, so many pieces in so little squares, so less squares, so little space. I mean, who knows what is going on here? Almost any piece can capture the other one. You might even go wrong and take your own bishop with your queen. This is complete nonsense. I mean, I don't know what's going on here. Bishop h4 was played, rook f5, and bishop d3. The rook goes back to f8, bishop b1. I don't know, maybe with the idea of having some checkmating threats there. I don't see what other plans could white have with bishop b1. Rook b8, now he takes. Let us see if queen c2, what happens. Well, probably this knight goes back, protecting there, so doesn't seem neither bad or good for white. I mean, this is still a position, playable, messy, crazy. Rook takes e8 instead was played. Now rook takes and knight e4. This knight now has a couple of nice squares attacking the pawn. Could go to d6 potentially. And now brave decision by Van Wely. Knight e3. He's temporarily sacrificing material, but he's going to take it back. It's not, doesn't seem a bad move. Instead, another interesting move suggested by the engine. This time, hooray, I understand it. Knight takes, b takes c3, and now the point is that, I mean, you're defending the knight on e4 with piece, black is attacking it with 2, and even though black does, I mean, he doesn't take this piece back immediately, he plays a nice intermediate move, c4. Now a couple of options. I mean, the correct one seems to be queen b4. What if he takes on c4? Well, knight e5 with double attack on the queen and on the knight. Of course, you can take the knight. This is queen takes d1. There was a rook there, by the way, so you can take there. And if not, queen e2, say, knight takes check, and now the bishop on h4 hasn't got any more protection. Queen takes h4, and you still get this knight pawned, knight pins, sorry, pair of bishops for black, dominant position. This seems to be much better for black, so that's why queen b4 is preferred here after c4. Just taking right away doesn't seem bad either, but well, seems more drawish because lots of pieces are traded here. Queen takes b7, rook e8, and well, a little bit more dry this position, but anyway, still playable. I mean, not bad or good in any way. It seems there is always a dynamic balance here. But I mean, knight takes c3 was an interesting possibility here, but this move was played. Now what you do here? Well, first option is to take. This is what happened. Bishop takes e4, and this is the point. Bishop takes e4, rook takes e4. Here Aronian took on b7 right away, attacking the rook. It seems it was more interesting to play e takes f4, and after rook takes f4, you got this check, rook t8 check. Of course, I mean, rook f8 seems much better. Otherwise, king h7. White has this queen g8 check, king g6, and this simply just cannot be good. This is almost dead for black. I mean, knight there, well, but bishop takes, rook takes, and now how are you defending the bishop on g7? This is just very, very bad for black. Instead, after the check, rook f8, takes, and now you take on b7, and it seems, well, white is up a pawn, and it seems black attack has vanished. So this probably is a better version for white. Aronian took on b7 just right away on the move 35. Now queen g6, rook d8 check, king a7, and well, it seems that this position is good enough for white to have serious, I mean, decent chances of winning. He has more or less succeeded in defending his position, but in heavy time trouble, I mean, both of them were in time trouble, but Levon just fails to find correct moves, the winning moves. He plays queen d5, and it seems that rook d6 was a key move, a strong move. It seems you're giving up the rook, but hey, you're attacking the one on e4 as well. So rook e6 was supposed to be good, and then a couple of exchange and lots of moves there, but if queen takes, the point is that queen takes check. Now queen g6. Otherwise, if king h8, you take here, and this seems cool. I mean, after the check, you play bishop e1, and after the check, if king g8, basically more or less the same. So more or less the same, and if queen g6, well, I guess you take. And here you're up a pawn, you're taking the one on f4, it seems as well. And well, this probably is good enough for white to win, although lots of technique is required here. Aronian didn't see this or miscalculated or whatever, he was in terrible time trouble. He played queen d5. Rook e6 was played here, and once again, the most important move in the game. A fatal blunder, I mean a deadly blunder. This is there is no excuse for this. You may be in heavy time trouble, but being a 28 plus GM, I mean there are no much excuses to not see this. But it was beautiful, at least. E takes f4 was played, very a very heavy blunder, and now this is already resignable. Bishop d4 check, incredible move, and this is winning for black on the spot. Why? Well, black has to take with the queen to avoid checkmate, otherwise 4 possibilities for white, all them leading to very quick checkmate. Let us see them wipe one by one. King h1, queen b1, and well, this is leading to checkmate. As you can see, back rank is very weak. Second move, king f1. Once this is queen d3 checkmate in one move, even faster. If c takes d4, once again queen b1 checkmate, and finally if knight takes d4, the same way, queen b1, bishop e1, and this is checkmate. So a cool way to finish the tournament. Obviously Aronian would love to have won this game, as it seems he had lots of chances to do it, to have a really astonishing, amazing performance. But anyway, he lost this, and even though he lost this, he still has 2900 plus performance. He's winning almost 20 rating points, and he had a very nice tournament, number 1 in the tournament in the Masters group. So no way this is spoiling his tournament at all. Just it would be cool to be undefeated and have much more points. But okay, you're playing with a Dutch player in the last round in Netherlands, and he's playing the Dutch. I guess there's no way you're going to win that. So hope you liked the game. Thanks for watching.